Hello good people of YouTube, and today I'm going to show you guys how I Montana. So just like the Gross Occur first video, I'm going to go through my captain and ship build, and then we're going to get into some gameplay with me commentating over how I Montana and how you could potentially improve your Montana game. Let's go ahead and look at my captain first. So I have Preventive Maintenance, MLG Turrets, Adrenaline Rush, BFT, AFT, Superintendent, and Concealment Expert. So, well, I know some people complain, I take Adrenaline Rush. I mean, Expert Marksman, I really don't need to, but you guys will be surprised how much that extra bit of speed on your main battery turrets helps out in a pinch. And the Montana's turrets aren't particularly slow. With Expert Marksman, they do rotate in 38 seconds, which isn't too slow, but still for a ship with only 16-inch guns at tier 10, I feel like they should be a little bit quicker than that. So that's why I take that skill. And of course, I still think it's worth speccing to AFT because Montana still does have very good AA. And in this current iteration of carriers, they may change that. AA is still up in the air until they get carriers a bit more stabilized. But I still feel like it's worth speccing into advanced firing training in the Monty. And of course, Concealment Monty has very good concealment. So just giving it that little extra boost to the concealment expert skill that you should also take with the ship modules. This is quite a stealthy tier 10. And let's run through the modules. So I have second auxiliary armaments mod 1 to give her AA guns a bit better lifespan. Damage con 1, of course. AA guns mod 1, damage con 2, concealment, and then the special American module, Artillery Plotting Room mod 2, which this gives the Monty some amazing dispersion most of the time when RNG doesn't feel like kicking you in the face. So let me just highlight that dispersion here. With that Artillery Plotting Room, you get 264 meters of maximum dispersion on the Monty, which that is some of the best dispersion you can get at tier 10, unless someone goes with a Yami with the super with the railgun accurate build, and that would be Aiming Systems mod 1 and the legendary module. And her concealment range is 14 kilometers by sea, and I do believe that is the best out of the other tier 10 battleships. Let me check that real quick. Yeah, I was about to confirm that it was the best until I remember the Conqueror has a built-in cloaking device. So the Conqueror's detectability range with the concealment module and the concealment captain skill is 13.7. So second best, but still a really stealthy battleship. Alright, so that is my captain and ship build. Let me go ahead and get into some gameplay, and then I'll talk to you guys about how I play Monty as the gameplay rolls. Alright, so the Montana, for those of you that do not know, this is actually my very first tier 10 ship that I ever got. And this is probably the ship that is the most, legitness I've ever grinded. Legitness. This is the ship that I've probably come as closest to legitimately grinding to as, when I say legitimately grind, I mean I got up to tier 8 and almost through the entirety of the North Carolina without premium time. Since then, I've always had premium, and I've grinded up the German, Japanese, British battleship lines, all by grinding, but I had premium, so I had that boost to it. The French battleship line, I free XP through that, so I get the review out for the Republic on the day of launch. But I still did. This is the World Warships experience that I had with the Montana. The grind. This is the ship that I experienced that grind with. So the Montana, she has 12, 16, 50 caliber guns. So she's, for all intents and purposes, she really is just an Iowa with a 4th turret, except not as fast. And that's pretty much the Montana. And more health, of course. But yeah, she's a really fun ship to play. She's got the best dispersion out of all of the tier 10 ships, and I would say she probably is the most accurate out of all tier 10 ships. Now, yes, the Yamato does have better Sigma and can have better dispersion if you build for it, but at the end of the day, the Monty has another turret, so that's 3 more shells going downrange, so she certainly feels like the most accurate of the tier 10 ships, and that is true. When I get shot at by a Monty, you know, with other battleships, when I get shot at when I'm playing either another battleship or cruiser destroyer or whatever, I go, oh my god, if that's going to hit, that's going to hurt. The Monty, I know it's probably going to hit unless I start dancing, and it's still going to hurt pretty dang bad. Now, the Monty does have the smallest guns out of the Tech Line Tier 10 ships. The Bourgogne is the premium French Tier 10, and yes, it does have 15-inch guns, but that's a premium, so I don't really count it too much. But it is a Tier 10. But out of the Tech Line ships, Monty has the smallest guns, but they're also, in my opinion, the most accurate. Now, how do you play Montana? Well, if you look at her, she actually sits pretty low in the water compared to some of the other Tier 10s. Definitely the Republic and the Yami and the Conqueror. The Kurfürst does sit fairly low in the water as well, but it's just such a massive ship that you have so much ship to shoot at. You're going to hit something you're shooting at a Kurfürst. But since she does sit pretty low in the water, you can show a little bit more broadside without having to worry about your citadel being hit too much more. That being said, don't show full broadside in this thing. Make sure you're angled, because even when you're angled, you're still going to take some chunks from being pinned. But, you know, it is, like I said, it does sit low in the water, so you're going to have a lot of close calls with shells zipping over your deck. That being said, she is fairly easy to citadel if you're being shot at by, well, a Yami or something like a Republic. Anything with large, high-velocity shells, they're going to citadel you pretty hard. But if you stay angled, which you can, you will be, for the most part, alright. Now, if something like a Yami shoots at you, of course, you're going to eat some pins, some pretty dang big pins. But if you can close the gap when fighting a Yami and get within 13 kilometers of them, they're all yours. The Yami is slow and not that maneuverable, and the Monty is faster than the Yami and more maneuverable than the Yami. And once you close that gap to 13 kilometers, your guns are extremely accurate at that kind of range. So you can outrun the Yami's turrets, get at its broadside, and bye-bye Yami. That being said, make sure the Yami is alone when you do that, because if it has friends, you're not going to have that good of a day. But she can be played at close range. There are some guys that swear up and down by secondary build Montanas, and I've talked to a couple of them. They say it works for them. If that works for you, go for it. I'm finding this build to work best for me right now, especially during this period of, well, carriers being everywhere. The AA is still very, very nice in this match that you're watching right now. By the end of it, I actually wound up shooting down 32 planes, which that is a lot of planes to shoot down in this current era of CVs. And she's a really, really nice support ship. She's a really nice... You're like your teammate's best friend right now during this carrier rework if you're in an AA build Monty. You know, keep the fighter squadron, go AA build. You'll be shooting down planes left and right. Well, left and right comparatively to, you know, because back in the day, I think I shot down almost an entire, like, this Midway had this strange fascination with me, and I think I shot down over 50 planes from just one Midway back in the day. I have to see if I can find if I kept a screenshot of the end screen, because that was a really interesting match, having a Midway just want me dead for some reason. But if you hang back, well, by back I mean mid to close range, well, this isn't a brawling ship, but you can get in close because your guns are that accurate, and the closer you get, the more accurate they get. Now, am I saying go brawl with the car first? No, don't go do that. But don't be afraid to close that gap between yourself and other battleships, because you do have 12 guns, 12 very accurate guns, and 12 guns that hurt a lot when they hit, especially other battleships. So the place to be playing the Monty is mid-range-ish. So by mid-range, by Tier 10 standards, I mean like 17 kilometers to 12 kilometers. That's what I would call mid-range. From 11 kilometers in, that's close range. So basically the range of Kurfürst secondaries. Now, against cruisers, the Montana is very, very good. Her shells are fantastic for punching through cruiser armor, and the accuracy of her guns, they're great. Especially, this ship is so good against cruisers. If a cruiser shows you their broadside and you have, heck, even just 2 of your turrets on them and they're within, like 15-ish kilometers, you're probably going to wipe away half of their health if RNG complies. That is a big if nowadays. But if RNG complies, you're going to just nuke their health. This is also a fairly good battleship against destroyers too, because if you get all 12 guns on a destroyer and you manage to predict their movements, it's going to hurt them. Used to, you could delete them, but Wargaming decided that, hey, destroyers can still nuke you guys into oblivion, but you can't do that to destroyers anymore, and now you can only nuke the Khabarovsk, the Harugumo, and the Kitakaze. But even with the changes to the AP, you can still wipe out most of their health if you manage to hit most of your shots on target against, well, any destroyer, really. And it is really satisfying when you do that. But it is kind of sad that Wargaming decided that, you know, battleships couldn't delete destroyers anymore. You know, can't see where that goes wrong, Wargaming. Can you sense the sarcasm in my voice? Because you should be able to. All right, so that is how I Montana. Yep, play it as a mid-range ship. Shoot at stuff that's broadside to you, because, like I said, if any ship gives you their broadside in the Montana, they're going to feel it. Even a car first, and the car first. Before I go, I'll give you guys this tip. If a car first is showing you their broadside and you're in Montana, don't aim directly at the middle of his side armor. Aim for that upper armor. Punch through there, and you will chunk like 40-50k from him if all of your shells hit. I know it's a really satisfying feeling to see a car first health just disintegrate like that. As much as I love car first, you know, anytime I disintegrate a ship's health in any battleship, it's a nice feeling. But aim for that upper deck armor, and yeah, you'll be good. Remember that when brawling against car first too. Don't go for that side armor, go for that upper armor, and you'll punch through, and they will have a bad day after that. So guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and we are under 300 away from that. We are soon to be under 200 away from that. That's amazing, you guys. Cannot thank you guys enough for that. We've had an amazing month here on this channel. I look forward to another amazing month in April, even though we're still 10 days away from April, but, you know, who's counting? So, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you guys in the next one.